All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. As here is the latest on the 49er intel when it comes as it pertains to the schedule. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, schedule leak number one. The Niners are going to visit the Los Angeles Chargers in week 15 on Thursday night football, December 17th. 8:15 start back east, 5:15 on the West Coast. Harbaugh against Shanahan, two great 49er coaches in recent days. That's going to be a hell of a game. Week 15. So, hey, if you want a mid-season trip down to Southern California, Niner fans, you can do it on a Thursday night. Maybe I may go down for that. I may have to check that out on a Thursday night. 49ers home opener will be week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, Sunday, September the 20th. The Dolphins coming to town. Brock Purdy's, dad's favorite team. The Dolphins. Brock, of course, made his debut against the Dolphins when Jimmy G went down, and Brock beat the Dolphins in relief of Jimmy G. Well, they will have the home opener. Week 2, Dolphins coming to Levi's. Schedule leak number 3, the Niners are going to Kansas City in week 16. That is not what I wanted to hear. That's Sunday, December 27th. That is a freezing cold day. That's a 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific on CBS. It's going to be basically a night start in late December in Kansas City with Mahomes and freezing cold weather. That made the schedule more difficult. This game is quite a bit different if it's early in the season with Mahomes with the knee and warm weather in Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City's a tough place to play. September, doesn't matter. That's tough to play any month of the year. But December 27th in Kansas City, I guess the only hope is that maybe the Chiefs will not be in an incredible year. Maybe they're going to struggle. Maybe Mahomes will be as bad in his 30s as he was good in his 20s. Who knows? But on paper, I wanted that game in September or October. And to see that at the end of December, oh my gosh, that could be a freezing cold game in Kansas City. So that is not necessarily good news for the 49ers. Also, the 49ers Cowboys will take place in week 10 on it's going to be a 1:25 West Coast start, 4:25 East Coast start. Niners and Cowboys in Jerry's World in week 10. So there you go. I mean, week 10, that's also late in the year. It might not be bad. Head out to Dallas for week 10. Also, the Washington Commanders will visit the 49ers in week 6, and that will be a Monday night football showdown. Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy. Could it be Jaden Daniels throwing to Brandon Ayuk? We shall see. But the Niners will host the Commanders at Levi's in week 6. That's interesting. That could be a hell of a football game. The Commanders have had a really good offseason, and they're looking to bounce back in a big way. And obviously, we know the 49ers are hoping that, that this is their year. Also, the Eagles, schedule leak again. The Eagles are going to visit the 49ers in week 17. So I wanted to see that game. I was hoping we'd get it earlier in the year. We're not getting it till the last week of the year. Eagles, Niners in week 17. And you got to kind of wonder, is that going to be a game that has real ramifications for the playoffs? Is that going to be a game where one team is playing for, with something on the line and the other team is playing with nothing on the line? That's the risk anytime you get those matchups, those conference matchups at the last week of the year. This looks like it could be awesome. Could you imagine? They're both 12-4 going into, and the winner gets home field advantage throughout it could be an epic all-time setup, or it could be 49ers are, a 12-win team right now, and the Eagles are 8-8, and Sirianni's been fired, and and their Eagles are dead in the water. The scenario could be quite a bit different, but it has the potential, if both teams hold serve, where that could be the showdown of showdowns. It could also be one of those things where you're battling for home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. And don't think for a second that they don't factor that in when they put together a matchup like that. They're like, we could potentially have home field advantage in the NFC playoffs on the line with these two teams. And the Niners have a little ownage on the Eagles right now. They beat them last year in the playoffs. I think they beat them, 3 straight? 2 straight? 3 straight? Something like that. So there you go. The Krug Show is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is super simple, and you just pick more or less on player stats or even game outcomes and build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. When you play $5, you get $50 in lineups instantly. So 49ers, today is schedule release day. And, what are we going to see? Of course, coming into today, we knew that week 1, Niners were taking on the Rams in Australia week 1. And we knew that the Niners in week 11 were going to Mexico City, and they'll be the home team against the Vikings November 22nd. And then we also knew coming into today that week 13 was going to be Niners at MetLife against the Giants. So now the schedule looks a little bit tougher. You got a cold weather game against the Giants. You got another cold weather game in Kansas City. Niners can be in 6 primetime games. I think that's what I'm looking for tonight. Do they get put in all 6? And then we know the Giants, the Giants are in week 13. And what did we say the Falcons were? Let's see, with that Falcons was not one of the games leaked. Philly leaked, Washington leaked, Dallas leaked, Kansas City leaked, Miami leaked, Chargers leaked. But no word yet. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if Giants and Falcons are in consecutive weeks. So the Niners maybe make just 1 trip back east as opposed to 2. That could be something to watch for as well. As far as international slate, Niners play the first international game in Melbourne week 1, and they play the last international game of the year in Mexico City against the Vikings. That coming in week 11. The Thanksgiving schedule is out, and to me, this is the best Thanksgiving schedule I've ever seen. Green Bay at Rams on Thanksgiving Eve, that Wednesday night, which is always a fun night. Packers-Rams on Netflix that night. Then Thanksgiving, this is the most power-packed Thanksgiving TV lineup I can remember. You've got Bears, Lions, and then Eagles, Cowboys, and then the nightcap Chiefs at Bills. I mean, that is some great football. And then the next day, if that wasn't enough, you get Broncos, Steelers from Pittsburgh if you don't want to do Christmas shopping. So there you go. A lot of good stuff there on the schedule for sure. We should tell everybody, of course, that the Krug Show is brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, as we just told you. Check them out, Emeryville, Corte Madera, soon to open in Petaluma. And also, the Krug Show is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or game outcomes and build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. And when you play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups instantly. And thanks to you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube,